Yo, what's up, guys? Cleaver Podcast here, and today I'm gonna be talking about the Dolphins and some of the possibilities they're gonna do for the free agency. This isn't gonna be a full list because I don't really know who's gonna be free agents. We're still in that waiting period, seeing who some of these guys are gonna get re-signed, some guys are gonna be cut. So we're still a little over a month away from free agency, so a lot can change within the next 2 weeks. But I just did just a basic, just a couple of people who I think the Dolphins should heavily go in and get involved and try to bring in a couple of guys. The Dolphins are in a weird part. They are in a rebuild mode, but they're also in a point where, if you can win, then win. The Dolphins did that a couple years ago. They went 1-15, brought in a new coach. They went 11-5, won the division. Granted, Brady was out that season with a torn ACL. They still went 11-5, but the fact that we went 11-5 is actually really crazy. So anything can happen. It's the NFL. I mean, I saw I think it was the Kansas City Chiefs. They went 2-14, and then went 12-4 the next year, to make it to like the AFC Championship game. So possibilities are endless for the Dolphins, and the Dolphins do have a lot of holes as a team, offense and defense, and they're trying to rebuild the coaching staff and the culture and all that. So let's get on with who I think the Dolphins going after. Brian Flores, defensive coordinator of the Patriots, with Trey Flowers is going to be a free agent unless somehow he gets re-signed. All these guys that I'm going, I don't know if they were re-signed or retire. The last time I checked, they weren't. So Trey Flowers, he was one of the defensive ends of the New England Patriots. He played under Brian Flores for a couple of years, either as a coach, the defensive coordinator, or a different coach from a different format. So a lot of players like to go to different teams that they're familiar with the coaches. Trey Flowers is one, definitely. If our pass rush hasn't been the greatest. The Dolphins are most likely to be moving forward from Cameron Wake, unfortunately. But a business is the business. You bring in someone just a tad bit younger, who knows the scheme and knows the play calling. This is a win-win situation for both Trey Flowers and the Dolphins as a whole. So keep that in mind when they bring in a DE. The second person who I think is the Dolphins are going to make the big splash, or who they should be considered of, is Javon Clowney, from the Houston Texans. He is a playmaker since he's been drafted. He has injury problems, yes, but when he's on the field, he is a wrecking problem. The Dolphins, who's been lacking in the pass rush, and kind of linebacking also. I mean, we got a couple young guys as a linebackers, but this is a guy to come in. You compare him with Kiko Alonso and help them mentor the young guys, and you could use them as a rotation package. Definitely, if it's been rumored the Dolphins might go to a 3-4 defense. Clowney would be the perfect fit for that. With the two young guys, Baker and McKillen, and then Kiko Alonso, it could be a nasty linebacking set. Now, moving on to the offensive side, real quick. The Dolphins are losing a couple wide receivers. Granted, wide receivers not the biggest need for the Dolphins. I mean, we still have Albert Wilson, Kenny Stills, Danny Amendola, Jakeem Grant. We got a couple, speedy guys. If they want to go skill set, I think that Golden Tate is an opportunity for the Dolphins. Golden Tate may come out as a little too pricey, but with his age, he might take a pay cut. I mean, he has been playing fantastic. He's one of the best slot wide receivers for the league, and I know we have Danny Amendola. If you cut Danny Amendola and bring in Golden Tate, that would be an opportunity for them. That guy he's always has separation. Even when he was playing with Calvin Johnson, he was the best wide receiver on that team. Hate me all you want for that saying. I thought Golden Tate was the best wide receiver on that time with Matthew Stafford, Calvin Johnson, and Golden Tate, and all that good playmakers. If you want to go cheaper for a wide receiver, Cole Beasley is also somebody to keep an eye on. He's been really frustrated with the Dallas Cowboys. Chances are he's not going to come back to the Dallas Cowboys. He already called out Jerry Jones and the whole coaching staff. Cole Beasley, He's not a guy that's going to get you 1,000 yards, 100 receptions, 10 touchdowns, but he's definitely a guy to fill in. Um, he's a good third or second wide receiver on the group. He can find some separation. Who could get you 50 yards a game, maybe a little less, maybe a little more. I don't really know. He's been playing with Dak Prescott, who has been questionably, is he a franchise quarterback? Now, granted, the Dolphins will not have a franchise quarterback at that point in time coming in next year, but he is definitely someone you could bring in. He's not that old, and you could build on, and then dump him a couple years later. It's up to the coaching staff. And the third wide receiver I have on my list, who could be a big asset, is Randall Cobb. Randall Cobb, from the Green Bay Packers, has played with Aaron Rodgers for a very long time, and he has not say he made Aaron Rodgers great, but Aaron Rodgers, they had a connection, and he's come up when clutch. He can definitely come into Miami, help the other wide receivers with that. I play with Aaron Rodgers and these other wide receivers. He can also help the quarterback and learn what Aaron Rodgers has taught him. So it could be a win-win situation. I don't think he's going to be that expensive in my opinion. You can probably get him for 3, 4, maybe 5 mil, which isn't too expensive in today's game. So, and then lastly, who I have before I talk about quarterbacks is a cornerback. I didn't do a lot of research on cornerbacks because there's really not a lot of great cornerbacks going to be in the free agency, and I think the Dolphins might draft one. It's really, I know it's really hard to have two great cornerbacks on one team. Definitely drafting them, but I think the Dolphins. I have faith in their scouting. I don't be surprised to get a great guy at like the fourth round. But a guy named E.J. Gaines. It's with the Cleveland Browns. He's a unrestricted free agent, and I don't think he did a lot of playing times. He's not a big name to me, but he's only playing for like a mil and a half. You could probably bring it in for $1.5 million, 2 mil. You can definitely have him for the depth and rotation. Bobby McCain is not going to be the next, the other cornerback. We're going to have to upgrade. Bobby McCain's not that great. Hate me if you want for that too. I don't think he's that great at all. I think we should have gotten rid of him, but it is what it is. EJ Gaines comes out as a cheap option. I think sometimes some guys just need the perfect fit. I mean, he was in a Browns defense that was a pretty good defensive unit overall, and turnovers, sacks, and stuff like that. Now, moving on to my quarterback options. All these quarterbacks, or I have 3 quarterbacks, and 2 of these guys are bridge quarterbacks. One of them could be a potential starting quarterback if he does very well for us next year. The first guy is Blake Bortles. He is not listed officially as a free agent, but chances are the Jaguars are going to cut him. That's what's been speculating for a long time. They're thinking about getting Nick Foles and stuff in that nature. Blake Bortles, you could probably get him for like 7 mil, unless someone gives him better thing to be a starting quarterback somewhere else. But as a bridge quarterback, if he has the opportunity, I think he should come to Miami. He has a great set of wide receivers. If you guys ever watch Blake Bortles, which I actually do, he is a gunslinger. And when there's a chance to go down the field, he's going to throw it down the field. He did that with the Jaguars despite having no named wide receivers. I mean, he had Allen Robinson. That was 2 years ago when Allen Robinson had 14 touchdowns, if you guys have forgot about that. So Blake Bortles can play. He just needs the offense. And I think Blake Bortles can have a decent season with Miami as a bridge quarterback, and then help build for the quarterback behind him. So that's one. The other guy is Josh McCown. He's like 39 years old, 40 years old. He's pretty old, but he's still got some gas in him left. You guys probably have watched him a couple of times. He's played for the Jets for the last couple of years. He's already been a bridge quarterback for Sam Darnold. Sam Darnold's played. He's been all right. He does have a turnover problem, but when I've watched Josh McCown, I think he's played pretty well, and he could be a perfect, suitable guy for a backup and as a bridge quarterback if needed. And the third guy is a lot of people probably haven't heard. His name is Taylor Heinicke. I think that's how you pronounce it. He's from the Carolina Panthers. He was the backup quarterback, got his first start in Week 17 against the Falcons. He didn't have the greatest game. This doesn't really matter. They weren't going to play. They weren't playing for anything. Although he got pressured every other play, their offensive line was kind of trash. They weren't playing for anything. And this is also a team that went 6-3 and then ended the season 7-9. So they collapsed. I have my dog here. If that's what you hear. But he could be a guy you could bring in. He's not going to be expensive at all. You can sign him to like a 2 or 3 year deal at maybe 3 to 5 mil pop. And if he does good that first year, you could have potentially a franchise quarterback who's only 26 years old. He's just finishing up his rookie deal, or I don't know if he's on a rookie deal or any of that, but he's not that old. But he could definitely be someone to keep an eye on and bring in for 1 year to see how he is. And you guys are going to be like, no, all these guys suck. Well, it really doesn't matter to you guys because you guys want the Dolphins to lose anyway. So what's the point of you telling me they suck when you want us to lose anyway? So bring in these guys. These are my small list. I will probably make another video probably in a couple of weeks once we get a full layout on all the free agents, who's available, who got re-signed, and where the Dolphins are at money-wise. The Dolphins are going to be making some moves here in the next couple of weeks to free up some cap space. I don't really know where the Dolphins are at cap space. They're like 30 to 40 mil, so you can make a splash or two and sign a couple of guys on a cheapy deals. I know the Tannehill situation could free up until 15 mil after dead money. So keep a lookout in another video for when I do another free agent thing. But those guys are big, heavy favorites, in my opinion. The Dolphins should go after, or at least give consideration. One of those guys will probably be picked up. I think Trey Flowers will be picked up for the Dolphins just because of Brian Flores and their relationship and stuff. So keep a lookout for that, and let me know in the comments who you think the Dolphins should go after free agent wise. And I want to know more on that also. On your guys' perspective and opinions and stuff. So let me know in the comments. Make sure you like and subscribe. And yes, I am sitting on the couch today. I didn't feel like sitting on the table. It was just more comfortable. And I got to watch this dog. But thank you for your time. Like I said, give a like and a subscribe. And I hope we have a great day. And I'll see you guys next video. Thank you.